Motion to approve.
Yeah, right click. Let's rotate here so I'm not looking like I'm all crazy. Okay, so this is D.W. Wilson Park here. This is the 6 acres are right here. We need this rezone to be P2 like the rest of the park. So it'll give staff the opportunity to know what options we have to give you guys a site plan for this park. That's basically what we're doing. We're scheduling, what you guys are doing here is scheduling a public hearing for the
Motion to approve.
land use rezoning.
We have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Lockley to bring it to a public hearing, second by Commissioner Jones. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. All opposed? That motion carries.
All right, and that is the end of the planning.
That's the end of
zoning
planning and zoning.
report. Attorney Schuler, there's one, this is all messed up here. And I'm sorry here, bear with me as I turn upside down, inside out here. I figure this out a lot quicker one day. Mr. George Floyd, he had walk away from the mic here. He had a planning and zoning request but it was based and being contingent on the getting the approval, the variance approvals. He did not get the variance approval, so what do we need to do with this actual item?
I don't
here?
go, I haven't been to the P and Z, so what you're telling me is whatever, because I understood he had an approval from planning and zoning for the
Yeah,
site
they
plan.
recommend, yeah, both boards
But that
recommended.
approval was contingent on the approval of the variance.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Brock, do you have any comment on behalf of Mr.
So do
Floyd?
we?
My recommendation is going to be deny, but.
But I need it in the records,
Yeah,
Commissioner. That's
you
exactly
do.
why I'm asking.
Why don't we just withdraw it?
It's up to you.
Okay, so that's official. It's been withdrawn.
Okay, what else you got?
That's it, sir,
Okay.
for now.
Moving on to Ms. Marsha Johnson, clerk of the court.
I've got the report. She had to leave for a conference call. She needs board approval of a contract renewal between the state Department of Revenue and the county, which provides for state-approved payments to the county for service of process for child support cases.
So moved.
Said-
Second.
We have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Lockley, second by Commissioner Sanders. Any further discussion? All those in favor? All opposed? That motion carries. Mr. Allen Pierce, Restore Coordinator Report.
Okay, this is actually going to be a faster report than it looks like, because most of this is really just for the file. Item number one's already been dealt with. Item number two, I hope Mr. Schuler has had time to review, because I haven't had time to talk to him, about a board action to approve an amended sub-grant agreement with DEP for the development of the improvements at Island Park, and then board action to approve the amended agreement with the Trust for Public Land to manage the sub-grant agreement on behalf of the board. All funds associated with the project have been budgeted. This action comes this morning at the request of DEP, and I hope Mr. Schuler's had time to review it, but I don't know if he has.
Actually, I have not had an opportunity to, but I think if we want their $1 million, we better agree to what they send us.
Yes, so I would ask the board action contingent upon Mr. Schuler's review.
I make a motion to approve, contingent on the attorney.
Now, you got two different actions here, right?
Yes, because of two different agreements. One, a motion for the sub-agreement with DEP, and then a second motion with the county and the TPL. There's two
Okay,
different.
so we need to, a motion on the floor for the first action. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Jones. Any further discussion? All those in favor? All opposed? That motion carries.
And
Next,
second
next for
action
the
with
amended
TPL.
agreement with the Trust for Public Lands. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Have a motion by Commissioner Sanders, second by Commissioner Lockley. Any further discussion? That motion approved.
Okay, thank you, sir. Number three, inform the board about the reaction of the APTA meeting that I attended Saturday, attended by approximately 50 people on Saturday, to the shoreline stabilization project that was discussed at the last board meeting. After a 2-hour presentation, question and answer period with me, the APTA board members voted, and I say unanimously, I didn't see any other hands, but I'll defer to Mr. Shosby, who's here, to support the further development of the board's concept of a 1-mile shoreline protection for Alligator Drive, starting at the west end of Chip Morrison and going east to the beginning of Mud Cove area. And you have a document in your presence, and it's on the website there. In a document generated by Mike Nebraska, MRD, and I asked him to create this document. The DEP reference points would be from R210 to 216, or approximately 6,000 linear feet of shoreline. And in the board's packet is MRD's conceptual design and all the details of information about where it would be and how much it would cost. I'm not gonna go through that document because I referenced it last board meeting when that's where the $8 million cost came from, but the details are in that. So the motion by the APTA board was, and I'm just quoting from Mr. Sosby's report, after a good bit of discussion, the APTA board passed a motion to communicate with the county commission their support in continuing to pursue this project as presented by Alan Pierce, and to advise the county commission that APTA will work with the BOC to identify maintenance funding sources that equitably distribute costs among all users of Alligator Drive. And so that was what the motion was, but let me give you the background narrative. There was a great deal of discussion about the possible funding methods, as a former senior staff person with FDOT was there to lead the discussion regarding the practicality of a fee-based system similar to the FDOT SunPass, where residents would buy an annual pass for their vehicle, and then with current technology available, a transponder and camera are erected somewhere on the point. Any car with a pass would go through this without stopping. Any car without a pass gets a citation issued through a central processing agency, and a fee is collected. There would not be a gate or a cash collected at any point. The former senior staff person said there is a private road in Leon County that is already using such a system, and they have worked out an agreement with the Turnpike Authority to be the processing agency for the fee. As you can see by the motion above, APTA is willing to provide assistance in developing a funding mechanism, and I told them several times that whatever the mechanism is, it had to raise $250,000 a year. At this point, I am satisfied that the APTA community is aware of the risks they face regarding the road, and they are willing to consider a project that they have to provide, where they have to provide the maintenance funds for. So I'm willing to tell the Restore workshop this afternoon that the board will be submitting a Restore project for a $4 million beach restoration project. The project as presented will have a 50-50 match provided by the state long-term erosion control program, for which the county was previously awarded a 50-50 match. Therefore, the total cost of the project estimated by MRD is $8 million. If plans change, the board can always direct the application to be withdrawn. But I believe I ought to inform the other applicants of the board's intentions, because our application will consume most, if not all, funding for the first phase of the MYP. And I say that it doesn't have to happen. You have really until July to make that decision. But I based upon the conversations that we had at the last board meeting, based upon the APTA thing, I think we might as well let the public know, the other applicants, that the county intends to put a fairly large project in there. But I defer to you all as to how you want to proceed.
I'd like to start this discussion real quick. I want the board to understand that if we can move forward with this project, it is to protect that road at Alligator Point, which the county has no other means of providing a road to the citizens should that road continuously wash out. As FEMA funds have been drastically cut, FEMA funds take forever to get approved, and I also understand that the current project that we have of $3-point-something million to fix the current road in its location is now having to go through another review.
It might. I'll get that in a second. Yes, sir.
And so that's a whole nother different situation, but the board needs to give Alan some direction as to whether the board, which is us, intend to actually use this money and try to do some beach renourishment down there, thereby protecting this road, or do we not? Alan needs to know, he needs to know before he presents this to the RAC committee this evening, the feelings of the board. So I would like all the board members' opinions of where we're going, why we're going this way, and is it really worth spending $4 million to try to do this? I would inject that it is, but that's just my opinion. Alan needs to hear from the rest of the board members whether he needs to keep pursuing this or not. I mean, it's up to the board, and that's my 2 cents.
I got 2 or 3 questions I need to ask.
Yes, sir.
First one is, what part of money that,
What part of the money? This is the county's Restore money. This would be the first, theoretically, the first $4 million of the county's $23 million would go to this project.
all right. I'm like this, I wanna be straight, I know they need it, and I wanna see them get it. But I still got, you went to a meeting with 50 people.
Yes, sir.
Now, them 50 was on hand, on board. How do we know all the rest of them on board when it come down to paying that money back?
Well, we don't. There's no doubt about it. There will be some people who, there were people at the meeting who didn't like the idea. I will say that the meeting, it was more widely accepted at the meeting because of the hope and the expectation that there'll be a more of a user fee-based approach than a simple application of another $500 a year on your property taxes. But we have to have a guaranteed income of $250,000 a year. And maybe the technology is out there now that we can do it through another format without a property assessment. That's what they want to look at. But ultimately, this project has to, in order to be successful, the board has said this, and I've said it at the meeting, there has to be a funding mechanism in place that the general taxpayers of Franklin County are not paying for, but the users of this road in this area are going to pay for. There has to be a maintenance fund in place before this thing goes forward, or not in place, at the same time that we actually spend the money. Because you all have to be assured that you haven't just blown $8 million.
And we have to have a 50% match should it be damaged again, because FEMA's
Right.
only gonna help us do 50%. That's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about FEMA's allocations are now being drastically reduced.
You
As a
have-
result of Tropical Storm Sandy up north, and then the FEMA redrawing the flood maps and making everybody jack their houses up along the coast. These are just some of the changes that are being made, and it's not gonna get no better.
Right.
The federal government is trying to back out of all this and just,
Right.
basically Franklin County's gonna be on the hook by itself.
Right.
We don't have the money, and then these people are gonna have to swim home,
I mean, it's
because they're
certainly,
not gonna have a road. We're trying to prevent all that, we're trying to take action as a board to prevent that, and put us in a position where we can keep that road going should it wash away in the next storm. And the beach that we're talking about putting there, with about 2 tropical storms or 2 anything, it's gonna wash that road out again, then you're gonna have to have beach renourishment again. That's why somebody has to come up with a match to match these FEMA funds to put the road back in place for the people of Alligator Point.
Well,
I don't know how else to handle it unless we give them all a kayak and say, here you go.
no, what I'm saying is,
I mean, which is not realistic. I mean,
what I wanna know is, I guess what I'm asking is probably is a lawyer question. Can we, when we do this, if we do it, however we do it, and we haven't talked to everybody down there, or how would that roll?
Well, I believe the last time we looked at the MSBU, the board made the choice to send it to the ballot, and the people voted it down. But I am also under the belief that the board has the ability to impose the MSBU yourselves without sending this to a vote if you think that is the correct procedure to follow.
Okay, so we can do that.
I do believe that you can, Commissioner.
All right.
one
That's what I
thing,
need to know.
real quickly, I know the other commissioners got comments, and I want to hear those comments, but Alan, when you're talking about using this transponder and all, what if that doesn't generate the money we need?
well, this is why it's an item of discussion, it's an item of expectation. I mean, the technology's got far beyond different now than it was 10 years ago when we looked at this. I have emailed Camille Tharp to see if this is something that she could look at. And she just got me a response this morning saying it's really beyond her expertise, but she sent it to someone else in Nickerson. So they're looking at, our assistance in creating MSBU is gonna be the consulting firm, Eddie, that, we'll see if they have some advice on this. They are gonna form a committee using this gentleman who has professed experience, and let's get some numbers, let's see if it works. I will tell you, it has to be a guaranteed source of income, though. It can't be a volunteer, well, I'm gonna buy a pass this year, but I won't buy a pass next year. No, I suspect what's gonna happen, and I say this without, I probably shouldn't say this, but I suspect we're gonna have an MSBU that will have a fee associated with it, and that fee will be the same thing as an annual pass. So if you own a piece of property down there, you get a free annual pass. If you don't own a piece of property down there and you wanna buy a pass, okay, that's great, here's the cost of the pass.
How would people that don't own a house here but visit Alligator Point, go to the beach water, how will they get a pass?
They won't get a pass, they'll get a citation.
So if they,
Well, actually, they could, I take it back, they could. They could buy an annual pass.
so if they
could buy
go
an-
down there and they
Oh,
just gonna get
Lord.
something in the mail that says you owe us this, I mean,
Yeah, it's
that sounds like
They
a,
call it a site, like, we go down to Tampa and Orlando.
Yeah, I pay my tolls. I don't get no
They'll send it
citation.
back- They'll send it back to your mail and, to your home address and say
Yeah,
you owe.
that's not workable, though. That's-
No, but
that's not
they do
workable.
still call that a citation.
Really?
Oh, yes,
I got one,
one.
I got one.
Yeah, my son got
I
one.
got
the other
The
day.
point is, I take back, first of all, this is way so premature, I hesitate to give you, advice.
right, I understand, we're just
But
talking and we're just looking.
the idea is
I'm
that
not
you would
being-
buy an annual pass. And so if you knew you were going to Alligator Point, you would buy an annual pass.
And if you just go for the weekend, just going through and they mail you a ticket.
Yes.
Like Compass.
And if they
No,
don't pay the ticket, then you don't generate no funds,
can't
and if
do-
we don't
That's
do an
what-
MSBU, then none of us have no funds.
That's why you can't rely upon the daily trip. You are going to rely upon people who own property down there who need a pass. That is what is going to be the base of your income.
I can say, we need to iron this out. I don't, nobody getting a ticket because they can't go down a road, ain't paid.
A public road.
That's what I'm saying, a public road. I
Okay.
mean, you know, the thing about it is, I understand and I agree, we need to do something. And this should have been done many years ago, but we stood by that vote that the people of Alligator Point took. And that's where, I mean, I don't mind doing this if the people want to impose something on themselves down there to take care of the match. I don't have no problem. I wished, Senator Jack Latvala, who had legislation this year for beach renourishment, could have gotten the Speaker of the House to work with them. He couldn't. That's what we were worried about, you know, at the last meeting. And so, you know, this leaves us out in limbo. But let's not say, we're gonna do it this way and this is the way.
Right,
Let's,
right.
let's research every avenue. And I'm going back to GSG
GSG,
services.
right.
A lot of people didn't have a lot of confidence in those people. And I love Miss Camille, don't get me wrong. But they did not have a lot of confidence on the numbers that she was bringing forth. So we need to be very careful about how we proceed on that also.
But
Right.
this goes back to the question, that he wanted to bring this issue to the RAC committee this evening.
I do, because, gentlemen, I think this is I think we're at a crisis on Alligator Point, that if we don't put something out there to protect the road, the taxpayers of the county at this point are gonna be paying for it anyway. And I think this is the best, safest, cheapest way to save this road, is to get a beach renourishment project on that shoreline area, using restore funds to begin with, matching with the state matching funding, and then the users of that area down there, and which is not yet defined, will have to come up with a maintenance fee, just like we did before. But hopefully, one will be simpler. It's gonna be one tier. Everybody who uses that road is gonna pay the same. We're not trying to get us 3 tiers of people on the beach. Everybody's gonna pay the same thing. I need outside assistance. They might be able to provide it on their level. We might have to hire GSG, because we have to, we need to make sure it's legally bound, that we have a defined area, anybody who owns property in that area is a beneficiary of this thing, and they are going to have to, they're going to be assessed for it. And the benefit of the assessment might be they get a pass if we work out a vehicular deal, or it's just on their taxes anyway.
Well, I mean, we're getting back to the garbage issue. I don't want the taxpayers
Right?
paying the garbage bill.
That's right.
No, so they'll be in
If
this.
you don't do that, then the commissioner has to stand up here and say, if
Yes.
I get 100 calls that I'm gonna lose my house and my land because I ain't paid my garbage bill,
Right.
then the commissioners have to stand up and say, yeah, that's pretty much the way it is. You can't come back and say, well, don't take this guy's house or don't take that guy's house because they ain't paid his garbage bill.
Well-
This is the same way. I agree with you. We have to be proactive in protecting that road to get these citizens back and forth to their house, absolutely. But I can't pay for that.
So we hope it'll be worked out that the users pay for it. Ultimately, though, it'll be borne by the property owners in the area who are the users anyway.
So do we allow?
May I
these
come in
prop-
on that? May I
So do
come
we
in?
allow these property owners to vote before we do this? And if they vote it down, then the road washes out and the county don't have no money?
No, I'm not,
No.
no. I think we need to
Saying
pursue
no.
this. I think we need to pursue this, provide all the information. I hope it'll be well received, but I think this is an issue for you to decide.
Well, go back to what I was saying earlier this morning. You still could put a pay station out there and collect that if they go down.
You could. There was a toll road on St. George Island. You could do one over there if you wanted to. Which is essentially what this
We
idea
just don't like
is.
to do public roads that way, but something's gotta be done.
Okay, yes, sir. Eddie Sosby, Alligator Point St. Teresa Association. I think the members of the community, I feel like the members of the community looking forward can see exactly what you're seeing and what you're saying about the long-term serviceability of the drive. And I think we recognize that. And as Alan very well has presented, his report documents our action Saturday very well, I think. But I do think, when it comes to this, looking at how to spread these costs equitably across, against the users of the Alligator Drive, I think we need, this is an exploratory thing. We hadn't got all the answers. Right now, in my mind, there's more questions about the technology and what opportunities may be available to use some sort of automated process and collecting user fees, collecting more of a user-based fee. So I think, that's something we're willing to work with your staff to try and determine and look for all these, explore these opportunities, and we're willing to do that. So give us an opportunity to see what we can come up with to try to help cover this maintenance cost is really where we're at.
Yeah, but we still got to see if we can find a match for this $4 million. I know
Well,
we've got hopes that we've
yes.
got a match to get the original thing done.
Yes, sir.
That hasn't come to fruition yet, so we don't really know till we follow down this road. The
Right.
question for the board is do we want Alan to tell the RAC committee this evening that this is a high probability of what the money's gonna be spent for? Now, having said that, if you tell the RAC committee that, and all the members there that are supplying application, and this falls through, and we can't get the match to do the original, do we come back then, at that point, and amend our MY?
Well, you just know, I think what, this is so premature to say this, but making the assumption that once the county submits an application and it's scored, and making the assumption that it's scored number one, that if somehow by the time Treasury reviews this, we find out that funding from the state is not available, well, then guess what? We just go to project number 2 on the RAC list.
Okay. That's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
we just move
Just
on.
break it down.
Yeah,
So
we-
this won't be the only project on the MY.
I shouldn't have
There'll be
said that.
additional projects there,
Yeah.
and if this project doesn't come and work out the way we all want it to, then we just move to the next one, and
Yes.
then as ranked by the RAC committee.
Yes, yeah, I shouldn't have
And
said the
brought
only
to the
project,
board.
yes.
Okay. That was I didn't wanna
I'm
make
sorry.
this like a one-year deal, and it doesn't happen, and then we gotta start the process all over, trying to get applications, we're gonna do all that anyway.
Right.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask a question of Alan? Recently, Gulf County did the stump hole area
Yes,
and it washed out.
yes,
So what do? They impose the MSBU on the people?
yes.
To pay
Actually,
it
this is
back?
this is a tragedy for the Gulf County residents. They imposed that MSBU for the first sand pumping that they did that washed out. So then Gulf County Commission had to come in and use their restore money, matched with some other beach restore money, to put the beach back that the residents had already been paying for the first time.
Okay.
But it washed out before they had it
Yeah.
certified.
And see, that's
So
what
they
I'm
got no
saying.
FEMA reimbursement.
Well, and that's something that could happen here.
It could
I
happen
mean,
here. It's a risk.
Because, if you're seeing the tropics are starting to heat up pretty good, I'm real concerned about this, because this reminds me of a few years back,
Mm-hmm.
way before the people here was there, that we had something like this happen. So I just want to make sure that the people understand that if we pursue this and we get to a certain point and everything, we may have to impose something on the people of Alligator Point to be
Yes.
able to pay for
In
it.
that area.
In that, the service area, you have
In
to
the
be
service
legally,
area.
you have to have a connection, a rational, legal
And I-
connexus, or nexus, whatever the term is.
Yeah.
Rational nexus between a fee and a benefit. And that's one reason we hired Nickerson and Gibson, because they provide that legal background to make it stick in court, because there will be people out there who won't like it. There will be people who are saying it's not fair.
But
This is the
at-
thing, it ain't if it's gonna happen,
It's
it's
gonna
gonna
happen.
happen.
Right.
I've lived here
When?
my whole life, it's just when it's going to, because we're gonna get a hard northeaster, we're gonna get a storm, it's gonna drift by us, and it's gonna happen. It's
It's
gonna do it
happened
again.
3 or 4 times since I've been here.
I have a question for both Alan and Mr. Sylvie. So the whole thing with the pass and all that, is that because there's a contention between property owners and people that visit?
No, it's trying to equalize it, make everybody have a share. in something.
Yeah,
If the visitors they couldn't come visit Alligator Point if there ain't no road.
Oh, okay.
So this is a way of letting the visitors ensure that they got a road to go to Alligator Point. I mean, that's basically what it comes down to, so they equitable.
But there's a lot of day traffic down there that residents feel like should be paying for this road. If it's a road protection, they want everybody who uses the road to pay for it.
That's what I was-
That's what.
So they would only pay when they come into that 1,000 feet of road. If they go into that 1,000, then they gonna start paying.
Well, I don't know.
Or are you talking
Yeah.
about getting them when they come off of Highway 98?
that's a whole nother issue.
That's a whole nother question. Personally, I'd put it on 98, but that's a whole nother issue.
Well, I'm gonna try to capitalize as many people
I
as possible.
understand, and I agree with you, we need to do something for this road, because it's gonna get to a point, we ain't got the money, and the county can't fix it, and then these people are gonna be messed up. That lives
Just
on-
make it a toll island.
It may happen. It may happen this year.
Yeah, that's all you can do is, let's stay over to the west.
I mean, I'll jump to something, if, right now, there's no more actions gonna be done on that road in the hurricane season. There's not gonna be approval by FEMA for a PW, there's not gonna be a state permit issued in time, there's not gonna be a beach out there, obviously, so that road is totally, is built as it's gonna build. And if we have a hurricane this year,
It's going away.
it's going away, and I don't know what kind of road will build back.
The little island off of off of Destin over there, it's a little bridge that goes across, it's a toll bridge. You have to pay to get that island, that's what keeps it up. Just going across, the little bridge.
Mid-Bay Bridge is the same way.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is, we're fixing to put pavement down there.
I agree, you're risking $20,000 for pavement to
$20,000
try
on pavement
to try to
for
make the
extra.
thing, on the assumption we don't have a hurricane, it's a total crapshoot. I mean,
Just make it a toll island.
Chairman,
Yes,
while we're here, not to muddy it in the water, but we're already here. Doing anything with this road before now, has it been on our MYIP?
there has been no NYIP until this point.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know. I didn't
Yeah,
realize that.
people on the point, I didn't stress this issue because we had so many things going on. But this is the county's first opportunity to get a beach in there without immediately burdening the people on Alligator Point for the first cost. And so we didn't have the opportunity to have this $4 million of restore money until literally this year.
Right, right. Well, no, the reason I was asking is I didn't want it to be anything where, and I'm sure there are people smarter than me in this room, but I didn't want it to be where there was anything where we're trying to submit something where there's already been stuff submitted.
No.
So it's gonna somehow mess our
No.
plan up for the state. You know what I'm saying?
No.
That's the only reason I was asking.
Tonight is the first time where applications will be discussed. Nothing's gonna be turned in tonight, but so I just wanted to be able to tell people that, it looks like the county's gonna submit something, 'cause I want people to be aware of what, our intentions are.
I don't see no other way. I mean, I brought this to Alan's attention myself, I might as well go ahead and take the beat down for that, but I don't see the way FEMA's cutting back, or we're getting no help out of our state government. They don't wanna take the road back, they're the ones that gave it to us, all this stuff. And this is a one-shot deal for us. We're not gonna have the money forever to try to do something to protect that road. We've never had the money, and we've been in trouble several times creating debris and stuff like that, trying to block and help protect the road. But
Yeah.
this is a one-shot deal, and if the county don't move, while we have the ability to help these people, it's gonna be bad. Because this road could wash out again, as you were just saying, before we ever get the permanent road put back, could wash out, even with the money she's putting in to repave it, could wash out. What are the people down there gonna do?
And we-
The state's not gonna help us, don't look like the federal government's gonna help us. I mean, we on our own here, folks. And we as leaders of the county, we looking at today, but we gotta look out yonder too. What's gonna happen next year, the year after that? If we don't do something and make a stand forward to protect this road so these people can get to their homes, we're gonna be in trouble.
We
Well,
spent several $1,000s when it washed out just between our workers,
Just trying to keep it passable.
Keep it passable. They worked 7 days a week
And
down there for a
it
while.
turned into a washboard event.
And it's clear to say too, that this is the first opportunity that the county has came up with where they had a pocket of money that they
Right.
finally could use.
Right, and we may not have
And
another.
I wish we didn't have to use it down there. I wish we had a good road down there, but we don't.
We don't.
And we have fought and fought and fought that road,
I mean, Commissioner Locke, you're not far off base that, it's certainly legal that we build a $2 million bridge and as a toll associated with that, that everybody on the residence uses, but that kind of deal, there's no state matching. So we would pay that entire cost, and then that entire cost can be shoved on whoever uses the road. So at least with the state matching, we are trying to build them a facility that they aren't having to pay the entire cost of. But a bridge and a toll, there are toll roads all over the place, and a toll road is certain allowable use, and we could assess people and bond it and, build the road, but guess what? The only people who would pay it back are the people down there using it. And I don't know what the cost would be, but I bet it'd be a lot more than this.
You paid for years to go to St. George Island.
Absolutely. $2 toll.
Right.
And the gentleman who actually was that I'm referring, he was in the county commission meeting in 1988 when the $2 toll came back up, and he was the one, he reminded me that he was down there once before, and anyway, we'll go with that story.
Okay, now, we making this priority. That's fine, they need it. All right, now what we gotta look at too, you got two cities looking for money. Is we gonna make them a priority on the next vote? I mean, on the next money coming in?
The priority is going to be based on a scoring system. I have made a lot of projections here this morning about how well this will score in the application, and that is true to us as well as any other applicant, including the city. I mean, it's a project, it's scored based upon the project itself, not upon the municipality having some sort of reserve fund or association. So the cities might come in with project with equal public need. I don't know what they're going to come in with, but I mean, you all are the final determiners of what the ranking is. The RAC committee is only going to be recommending it. You all make the final decision.
Mr. Chairman, I think it's very, probably good timing that we actually have some of this coming actually available. I know that none of us probably want it to be that way, but it is what it is. At the end of the day, the only people that's gonna provide it is gonna be us, because the state ain't doing it, and nobody else is willing to do it, so we here,
And to get to your statement, Commissioner Lockley, as I asked Alan, if we don't get the matching money to go with the money that we're thinking about putting in this, it ain't gonna happen. Then we just move on to these different
Right.
cities or NGOs or whoever puts in for other projects, and they'll all be ranked, and we'll just move on. So they may get funding this year. We don't know, but he needs to make them aware that the county is thinking about this project, and we as a board need to tell him whether he needs to submit that or not.
I ain't got no problem with it being submitted because they need it, but I just want it, down the road, you got two cities, Carabel, Appalachia. You know they're gonna be looking for some money.